Aston Villa, Boxing Day, and Manchester United just don't mix. This is your match reaction to Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 2.
Up and running, and Villa is loud.
Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with your instant match reaction to Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 2. Another disappointing trip to Old Trafford. Boxing Day fixture as well, which we very, very rarely do well in. And even at 2-0 up at half time, it was still on dodgy ground, and as it proved to be, Manchester United with a rousing second half comeback. Villa wilting like, I don't know, some mouldy lettuce. Lose out in the end, 3-2, and not been a great time over the Christmas period for Villa so far. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We have surpassed 3,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. We don't want to stop there. We want to continue growing. Get involved in the comments. Your thoughts on today's performance. Very disappointing. Some players really do need to step up a little bit. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, though. And yeah, where do we need to go from here? What do we need to do? How do we turn around this kind of slide? Because I mentioned it in the preview. I said, at this moment in time, I feel like we're having to work extremely hard to get anything out of games. We're not comfortable enough in games to be kind of for fans to kind of be expectant of any results, and it kind of felt like this type of result was coming. We got out of jail against Sheffield United with a last minute goal, got out of jail a little bit against Brentford. Obviously they went down to 10 men before that period. It didn't look like we were going to score. Got out of jail against Bournemouth, obviously 2-2, and then Arsenal played well against us. We defended really well to get the 1-0 victory, and there's only really Man City game which we really roused ourselves for, where we absolutely dominated. I mean, you could even go back to Fulham, where we won 3-1, and think, well, it's that second half Fulham played really well. So there's been one or two signs that all isn't rosy in the garden at Villa, and it didn't take long for Man United to wrestle control of that game, and we just folded like a deck of cards. It was a little bit embarrassing, if I'm being brutally honest. But to start in the game, Dendoncker comes in, and we thought that was a good move because it allows McGinn to play further forward. Pau Torres not involved. Obviously, Longley back in at the back. But yeah, I think everyone was pretty happy with the starting lineup. Obviously, Bailey keeping his place, Watkins up top, Louise, Dendoncker, Ramsey in there as well. So yeah, it was. I guess Ramsey was one that could maybe question, does Zaniolo come in for him? But I think most Villa fans would have been happy with that starting lineup. And yeah, we started the game off pretty well. We know that Man United were under a lot of pressure. Ten Hag was under a lot of pressure, obviously, after their defeat against West Ham, and we started the game pretty well. Both teams sort of passing the ball around well, both teams having a few chances. And on 21 minutes, we get a free kick. Leon Bailey doing his best job of distracting Onana in goal. He runs out of the way. McGinn puts a great ball in that area where the goalkeeper doesn't want to come and claim it. It misses everyone. It looks like Watkins gets a touch, but he doesn't, and it goes straight into the net. And we're 1-0 up, absolutely flying, loving life, and yeah, great goal from McGinn. You put it in those areas, and you're gonna get the reward. So really, really good. And then not only that, we take the lead on that situation. 5 minutes later, we get a corner. Ball comes in to the box. Longley heads it back across, and I don't know where the marking is. And Leander Dendoncker sticks a leg out, hits his heel, and goes in. And Villa are 2-0 up after 26 minutes, absolutely flying. And yeah, wonderful start to the game. 2-0 at Old Trafford. Villa fans going absolutely crazy, and we're thinking we joint top at this moment in time and in absolute dreamland. But that being said, United was still very threatening, and Garnacho in particular, Rashford even on that left hand side, and we were playing that high line again, and they were trying to spring it numerous times, but were getting caught offside. You could see Ten Hag telling the players to run from deeper. And they were almost getting it right, and it did point to the fact that at some point, if we kept running that risk, it might come back to bite us. And yeah, we managed to go in at half time 2-0 up, which is what you want. But it didn't look comfortable. I would say it didn't look comfortable, and you knew that a goal from United would really turn it around. Especially with the pressure that they could put on us. There seemed to be a lot of space on the pitch. It seemed to be very stretched. We were trying to pass the ball across the back, but then those passes from the back into midfield seemed to be going having to cover too much of a distance for my opinion, and maybe the runs up front weren't coming off for us enough. Watkins was very quiet, was starved the ball a lot. I don't know whether he was showing for it enough to feet or whether he was spinning in behind, whether we could get Bailey into the game enough, because when he was getting into the game, he was quite dangerous. A couple of times he's cut inside and hits a shot and it gets blocked. But yeah, you could see the signs weren't quite there, weren't quite right for us. But going at half time, as I say, 2-0, 2-0 up, and you can't complain at that. Absolutely not. And you think, just hold on to it, just get reset, be strong in that midfield area, and come out and spoil the game almost. But we didn't really do that. And right from the off, from that second half, that the United players must have had an absolute rocket from Ten Hag. And they came out absolutely firing, and right from the off, the ball comes out onto the left hand side. They break. We give the ball away. They break through, and I think it might be Rashford who plays the ball to Garnacho, who actually is in front of him. But and then Garnacho puts it in, but you can clearly see he's offside. It goes to VAR, but that was a real sign of things to come. And unfortunately, in that situation, Luca Dini gets injured, and Dini had played well against Garnacho, to be honest with you, but and Garnacho would give him a real tough game. But Dino, as he slides into the net, which the goal ends up being ruled out, he injures his ankle and has to go off. And this is part of the problem where the referee, the linesman doesn't give a decision and the game isn't stopped. You end up getting situations like that where players get injured. Anyway, Alex Moreno comes on 50 minutes, and he's a fairly able replacement, but obviously that changes a little bit of the dynamic. And Garnacho really did have the bit between his teeth, and we didn't learn the lessons. Poor playing across the back. Man United latch onto it. Ball comes out to Rashford. This time he lays the ball across. It's a perfect timing for Garnacho just to put it into the net, and that's 2-1 to Villa then. And yeah, we are under the cosh. We are absolutely under the cosh. And it's almost like a tidal wave. Then the crowd are behind Man United. And yeah, it doesn't take long. 71 minutes, Garnacho scores again. Absolutely flying now. We make some substitutions though, and incidentally, after each of those two goals, we could have scored. After the first Garnacho goal, we go up the other end. Leon Bailey has a shot from a Moreno cross that Onana makes a great save, and after Garnacho scores, John McGinn should score. Ball gets cleared off the line, and you think in those situations, had those goals gone in, it makes it 3-1. We're back in control. We make it 3-2 again. We're back under control, but we couldn't do anything about it. Diaby and Zaniolo come on 77 minutes for Ramsey and Bailey. Anthony and McTominay come on for Rashford and Mainu, and then at 82 minutes, you know exactly what's going to happen. The guy who hasn't scored a Premier League goal all season Up comes Aston Villa, and Rasmus Hojlund latches onto a loose ball and smashes it into the net. 82nd minute, the crowd goes wild, and it's 3-2 to Man United, and it doesn't matter from there what Villa do. It's 9 minutes of added time, but United see it through comfortably. I think Villa's will had been broken, and yeah, it does highlight a few areas where we're lacking. Obviously, the first one is, you're missing players like Pau Torres, you're missing players like Tielemans, you're missing Boubacar Kamara from obviously through suspension. They're huge, huge misses for our team, particularly Torres and Kamara, because without Kamara, and George said this the other day, Douglas Luiz is half the player, absolutely half the player, and Luiz for me today was terrible. Absolutely terrible, hiding behind players, not making himself available for the ball, constantly giving the ball away. And you talked about, we talked about Unai Emery challenging him to be better. Well, at the moment, he really does. He really does need to step up off of that performance today, because that wasn't good enough. Diego Carlos, I thought defended well, but he's given the ball away quite a lot. Are we too slow across the back? Are we too slow playing it out from the back as well? I know we're trying at certain times to control the game, but were we letting United onto us too much? We knew there was space on the pitch to exploit. Could we have exploited it better? John McGinn, he tries to play in that role further forward, but was he effective enough in the game today? Did they step onto him, effectively? I would say yes. Dendoncker obviously gets his goal, and coming in, it's difficult for someone like him to come into that game, but was he left on the pitch too long? Does he need to maybe have given us 60 minutes and then come off? Because yeah, I mean, for me, he hasn't got the greatest of engine anyway, and once United start really stepping up, he is a player who is really going to struggle in that type of game. And Jacob Ramsey, we said he needs games to come into start getting more effective, but we really need to see it now, because the last few games he's been highly, highly ineffective. And Ollie Watkins, starved of the ball. As I said before, is he making good enough runs? Are we finding him well enough? I'm not so sure. And then you bring in on players like, Musa Diaby, who's a shadow of what he was when he first came in. So, Unai Emery is the man to, I'm sure, well, obviously, to turn it around, and he will not be happy. And you could tell he wasn't happy with a number of players and the way a number of players were carrying themselves in that game. But we need to turn it around quickly, because, you know, it's not necessarily the results. The results have been great, and it's not the fact that you lose a game; it's the manner of which you lose the game. And it's Man United again. It's 2-0 up, and you lose 3-2. I mean, how many times has that happened? But we have the game on Saturday against Burnley, and we really do need to turn it around, because then going into an FA Cup game and then away at Everton, which we know isn't going to be easy as well. You don't want to be losing ground. On that top four challenge. You don't want to be losing momentum. There's one or two clubs in that kind of eighth to to fifth bracket that are losing a bit of momentum. Tottenham are gaining momentum. Man City will come back now, I'm sure. So we really, really, really need to arrest that slide, and start putting some performances in again. Start getting some real confidence. We've shown character, but let's start showing some real confidence in our play and how we play, and start really fast in the game, particularly Saturday against Burnley, and get 2 or 3-0 up. Well, we were 2-0 up tonight, but you take my point. Just really, really take the game to them. Be confident. Be positive. Not confident as in trying to play it across the back and being languid and slow, and kind of let teams at us. Be positive and purposeful, and really run at players, and show what we can do. But yeah, frustrating one tonight. Really, I'm really angry about kind of how we've let United beat us again. I really did think, 2-0 up at half time. You can't be throwing away that lead. It's criminal, really. But some of the players do need to take a look at themselves, because you can't be hiding it in games like that. You've got to really show what you can do, and show and step up. And I don't know, was there enough leadership out there? Was there enough leadership on the pitch? I don't know. But anyway, I'm rambling on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the performance today. I'm absolutely gutted. We need to get the win on Saturday to kind of put a little bit of a shine back on the Christmas fixtures. Can we end it with 4 points from these three games? Anything less than that will be an absolute disaster. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will respond to as many as I can. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back with a match preview for Burnley, talking tactics. I'm sure Gareth will have a lot to say about this game. And hopefully we'll be back as well for a full match reaction with the lads as well, because I'm sure they'll want to say something. So make sure you keep in touch with the channel. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you had a great day yesterday. Keep those festivities flowing even after the result today. But yeah, thank you for watching. And as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.